A major announcement in China with the Bahamas coming up. Find out what it means for the country. A major bank's leader steps down. And Women's Basketball League in action. We've got the highlights. The Bahamas tonight. The national report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
A major announcement from China's president spells good news for the Bahamas' financial services sector. Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisma Robinson. Clinton Watson tonight is in Beijing with the Prime Minister with the news, along with China's commitment to support the Bahamas and accessing international funding for climate change, new partnership for BAMSI, education, trade, business, and investment exchange.
It was an issue that garnered immediate support from both sides, the need for more investment in both countries from Bahamian and Chinese businesses. And it could not have been solidified any more on the Chinese side than by President Xi Jinping's surprise announcement that they have agreed in principle for the Chinese currency to be traded in the Bahamas, making our nation the first in the region and one of only 3 countries worldwide.
And so the announcement that they've agreed in principle to that, I think, is a huge, huge thing for our financial services sector and a welcome gift for the new Minister of Financial Services to try and move that agreement in principle to something which is concrete, which can help the financial services sector. It's going to be, China is a source of capital in the world. And this will make it easier for Chinese companies and both publicly traded companies and Chinese private sector to work in the Bahamas, and also make the Bahamas more attractive as a trading center, because you'll be able to do that in the Chinese currency.
When the China Construction Company had entered into an agreement to buy the Hilton Hotel, the China Export-Import Bank, a huge enterprise, indicated to me they would like to establish a regional headquarters in the Bahamas. That's an extraordinary opportunity where all that they do in the region and Latin America, etc., would be headquartered in the Bahamas. And I'm looking forward to that opportunity. So when the President acceded to our long request for being able to have this added on business opportunity in terms of the currency, I was just delighted about that.
As of last year, China is the largest exporter of tourism, 120 million people to be exact, most of them visiting near China. However, China's president says the Bahamas' close proximity to the United States makes it an attractive destination and a suitable candidate for direct airlift, something Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie wants to capitalize on, particularly with the opening of Bahama. In fact, the delegation learned while here in Beijing that there will be direct flights to Cuba. It was based on this information Mr. Christie made his case.
And the point I made to the President is that in discussions with the President of Cuba, I advanced multi-destination tourism, and that where people come to the Bahamas could have an added-on visit to Cuba, and when they come to Cuba, they could have an added-on visit. Little did I realize at the time that this new direct flight would come from China, but I indicated that we would like, in fact, for that aircraft or the airline itself to fly to the Bahamas, that we have an airport with the capacity to absorb it, we have a tourism industry. And he spoke himself about now millions and millions of people going abroad as tourists, and that there's no reason why they could not come to the Bahamas.
President Xi Jinping has also asked for the Bahamas to draft a paper on the proposed new multi-purpose indoor gymnasium they would like granted, and discussions would take place surrounding the information. And with so much of the requests by the Bahamas being met by China, the question is, what is the Bahamas giving in return to China? Well, Minister Mitchell put it this way.
It's about support for their position in the United Nations. And we've lent that support. We see no reason why we should resile from that. And in exchange for that, this convergence which exists in the Caribbean, where you have these votes at the UN, it gives us the ability to punch above our weight on these issues. and that's the exchange. And for that, in a time when our traditional partners are not lending the development assistance, and when there's no capital available from those development partners, those traditional development partners, the Chinese have a situation where they have surplus capital. It's cheap capital, and they're willing to lend it because it gives good returns and it gets them support around the world for what they want to do. But the point is, there's no interference in our internal affairs, and that's the conditionality which we would find unacceptable, but it doesn't come with that attached.
And just before concluding that special meeting with Prime Minister and the President of China said to Prime Minister, in no uncertain terms, let's get to work building the relationship and improving on what we already have in place. In Beijing, China, Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Well, thanks a lot, Clint. During a televised State of Affairs show with host Steve McKinney that premiered on ZNS TV 13 last evening, Prime Minister Perry Christie said Bahamians will soon reap the benefits of development taking shape in the capital, including the Bahamas resort.
End of March, some 5,000 new persons will be employed by Bahamas. That in itself will trigger
not 5,000.
At least 5,000.
At least 5,000.
Okay, you know, Atlantis has about 8,000 people working. There's another hotel there now. So by the time they get going, you're talking about 5,000 new jobs. And people are being employed now there. So we know there's going to be a significant impact there. The Hilton Hotel for New Providence, the Hilton Hotel, for example, is going to go through a dynamic redevelopment, almost making it the gateway to the city of Nassau. Smaller hotels on that strip are now being redeveloped there. We expect the South Ocean to come in shortly with a new purchaser. Lyford Key has agreed now, and we've approved their development to expand at Lyford Key. A new office block, new cottages, new condominiums. Albany continues with their dynamic development, hiring hundreds of construction workers. So we know it's happening.
For the last 5 months, the Bahamas Electricity Corporation's Clifton plant has been running below expectations, preventing significant savings for consumers despite drops in oil prices. BEC Executive Chairman Leslie Miller says oil has fallen as much as 55% on the global market and by June is expected to dip to $40 a barrel. In its latest shipments, BEC paid $135 per barrel for diesel, and last week's shipment again dropped to $95 a barrel. Miller says customers saw a decrease on fuel surcharge from 27 cents in July, which is now down to 23 cents, but even that, he says, could have been better.
Our capacity at Clifton is 174 megawatts. For the last few months, Clifton been running below 70 megawatts in many cases. Thank God today we're up to 97 megawatts now. Therefore, when we switch from bunker C to the diesel oil, which is what you put in your automobiles, the consumption of that fuel at Blue Hills is such that it causes us an extra $250,000 a day.
Miller added that gains are eventually lost because of inefficiency. This is something the corporation is hoping to tackle in 2015. Plans also include the construction of a new plant that is expected to increase savings for the financially strapped corporation.
Once we put that new plant in place, our savings on fuel could go anywhere from $100 to $200 million per annum. Because some people are coming in in fact, tomorrow, BWSC is sending a team in tomorrow. And we're going to try to get those engines at Clifton running up to par because it's a crucial stage for us now, because come May, when the demand is going to increase dramatically for the summer months, those machines need to be serviced and repaired now to get us ready for the hot summer months that is going to come upon us very shortly.
The Bank of the Bahamas may soon be in the hands of new management. The current managing director, Paul McQuinney, could be stepping down within months as the bank is now moving in a different direction. Siaska Adley has the story.
Bank of the Bahamas is presently seeking new leadership after its managing director, Paul McQuinney, gave his 6-month resignation notice. Prime Minister Perry Christie making that announcement on Tuesday night during the television show State of Affairs with host Steve McKinney.
The bank has asked Mr. McQuinney to to provide a plan going forward. That plan was just submitted last week to the Board of Directors, and we expect the Ministry of Finance to receive a copy of it. But the idea of the plan is to show how the bank could move to profitability.
This move comes after the bank received a bailout from the government. Back in October, Resolve Bahamas Limited was created to alleviate $100 million of bad debt. With the government being a 65% shareholder, the Prime Minister expressed optimism that the bank will soon be on good financial footing.
We're going to have positive results from Resolve, and in fact we already know that a significant sale of one of the assets has taken place, which has funded Resolve substantially to move forward and so to speak, lay the basis of success going forward.
But how did the bank end up in that financial situation? The Prime Minister had this to say.
The challenge of the Bank of the Bahamas. And you're going to find, as you find more and more about the Bank of the Bahamas made some loans to Bahamians on the promise that they would be successful, and they haven't been. Now, we're not going to give up on those Bahamians. We've taken the money out, we've taken the debt out, and put it into Resolve, and we're going to work with them towards being able to get them to have successful businesses to pay us back. So we are confident that we are on the move. We're confident that the right decisions are being made, and we expect in short order for there to be new management direction.
We reached out to McQueenie, but all he said was that he has no further comment at this time. McQueenie was appointed the bank's managing director back in 2001. Sias Adderley, ZNS Network News.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Shell Quality Fuels.